Now on Indianapolis This Week, the battle over marriage and the groups at odds. The 30 minutes that could change the future of the debate. Today, we talk to Hoosiers Unite and the Attorney General, plus our insiders on the hot topics of the week, including education and public safety, and the journey at the Walker, the special path being set on Indiana Avenue.
From RTV6, the Indy Channel, this is Indianapolis This Week with Rafael Sanchez.
30 minutes is all they will get. Each side gets 15 minutes to make their case in the battle over same-sex marriage in Indiana. The 7th Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago will hold a hearing on cases involving our state and Wisconsin. The court will rule if Indiana's ban on same-sex marriage is constitutional. The Indiana Attorney General's office filed its final brief with the court, restating its argument of traditional marriage being in the best interest of the state. Joining us now is Hoosiers Unite for Marriage, Kyle McGrath, and two ladies who want their marriage acknowledged by the state, Officer Teresa Wellborn and her wife Beth Pettit. So, Carl, what is the significance of Tuesday's hearing?
It's a really significant day. We're looking forward to it a lot because it's the next step towards the Supreme Court as the 7th Circuit Appellate Court in Chicago hears the cases of all of the plaintiffs that are working to challenge the ban on same-sex marriage.
But you know that's not the end of the road, right? At the end of the day, whatever the Court of Appeals decides to do, there will be a challenge.
Certainly, and we're, coming off a lot of momentum locally with 2 cases ruling in favor of same-sex marriage and 37 nationally ruling in favor of same-sex marriage. So we know it's not the end of the fight. We know the Supreme Court's where we're looking towards, but we're still excited. We know it's a big, big deal if we can win up in the 7th Circuit.
Officer Wellborn, you and your wife are part of the faces of this fight, one of the many faces. What do you expect to come out of Tuesday, other than there will be a challenge to whatever those 3 judges say?
I would like to see us win in the appeals court on Tuesday. But I know that whether we win or whether we lose, it's still going to go on to the Supreme Court.
Part of your fight is to extend benefits to everyone in this fight. And so can you talk about that?
The pension benefits for heterosexual couples are that if their spouse would die, either in the line of duty or after they've retired and die a natural death, that they would get either a check as a pension check for their spouse. In our case, my wife would not get that. If I got killed in the line of duty, the federal government would pay her a certain percentage, but she would not get a state benefit. Because they don't recognize our marriage here in Indiana.
And Beth, we have seen through the polls anyway that some attitudes have changed. Do you sense that, or is that just a number that's just thrown out there in hopes of changing the laws?
I have been very blessed by being part of this case, and I have been approached by numerous people at the workplace who support us in our fight, and have just been overwhelmed by the support I've gotten in the community.
And so, Kyle, have you also seen that shift? Because some people would say that's just an agenda. Either it's a media-driven agenda or an agenda driven by the other side. But are we actually seeing that shift? And will you see the court maybe reflect that at the higher level?
I think so. And, it's coming from some places where we don't expect it. Faith communities are reaching out to us and letting us know that their church is on their way to trying to reconcile and come to support marriage for gay and lesbian folks. We've also seen it from more conservative folks. It's this place where we're at a real critical mass, and we know that people from all different walks of life are starting to change their minds because they're hearing about couples who aren't afforded the same kinds of privileges and rights and benefits that straight couples are just granted because of who they love.
Now, last week we saw a federal judge who said that the state should recognize out-of-state same-sex marriages, but on the same day said, I'm going to stay my decision. Was that a victory, or were you disappointed with that ruling?
I think that, every step that gets us a step closer, even that they're considering it. When they first legalized marriage here for gay couples, that was a step in the right direction. Even though the stay came, it was still a step in the right direction. We went to church that night, and the support there was unbelievable. There was over 500 people there to thank us for stepping forward. So I think every step and people hearing about the causes and seeing that we are being discriminated against, I think it is a step in the right direction.
And what do you say to folks that still feel threatened by the issue of same-sex marriage, that can't see two men or two women be married, that believe it's an affront to the man-woman relationship, that marriage? What do you tell them in hopes that they can maybe understand how that all works?
You know, I'm not asking them to change their beliefs or the way that they think. I'm just asking them to allow us to have the same equal treatment under the law as everyone else does. I don't want them, if they don't believe, that's their right. I don't have a problem with their beliefs, and I don't ask anyone to change their beliefs. I would just ask them to afford us the equal rights under the law.
And so, Kyle, what will be the next step? On Tuesday, you'll have 15 minutes to make your case, and then you're shoved out of the courtroom. Is that enough time to change the minds of three judges who have a lot of say on this issue?
I think if you meet any of the plaintiff couples that are involved in these cases, it is enough to change someone's mind. I think that whether you're a judge or a person who's just wondering if maybe they should support a marriage for LGBT folks, that meeting these couples, it just takes very little time to realize that they're in love, they're committed to one another, and they're everything that makes them a married couple is there, except that one thing that so many people treasure, which is the marriage, the certificate, the ceremony, all of that. So, yeah, I think the judges are, if they are conflicted, they're going to have a tough time once they get to know these folks.
Well, thank you for sharing your viewpoints. We hope that you'll come back again and let us know what happens after the hearing on Tuesday. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Indiana Attorney General Greg Zeller will send his Solicitor General to defend the state's position before the Court of Appeals. Our State House reporter Katie Hines asked the Attorney General what he expects the court will focus on.
It really makes the legal issues more clear. So the judges will ask the attorneys, both our attorneys and the opposing counsel, questions, and really hones in on the legal questions. So it's not like what you would see in a court at the trial level. This is about the legal authority of the state and the challenge on the civil rights issues being raised. This issue was before the court a number of years ago, the same question that we're now debating, and it was really the failure of the Attorney General in California to defend, which is why the court said that there was not proper standing of the parties. So I think that reminds people that it is the obligation of my office to defend our statutes so that the courts can do their job in making a ruling on the legality of our state statute dealing with marriage or any other challenge that faces our state. I know this is one of those issues that's very emotional, and rightly so. People have very strong feelings on both sides of it. And I've told people that, you know, this is not personal advocacy on my views. It's, I think, my obligation to defend the men and women who passed this statute. I think Governor Frank O'Bannon signed it. So they expected this office to do our job when they did their job. So it's something that I've taken to heart, and you can always expect me to defend the statutes when challenged.
We'll have full coverage this week on RTV6 as the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals hears this monumental case. Next, a bump on the road or the end of the road for the mayor's anti-crime plan. Our insiders join the roundtable after the break. Joining us now are political insiders, Democrat Kip 2, Abdul Hakim Shabazz with IndyPolitics.org. Welcome to the roundtable. 7th Circuit Court of Appeals will take up the same-sex marriage issue on Tuesday. Should this just go to the Supreme Court, or are we going to have to wait much longer?
Well, we do have 3 branches in the federal system. I think it's going to have to run its course. I'm not going to criticize how we do justice as far as those 3 branches. It works out pretty well, but I think eventually it's going to the Supreme Court. I don't think anybody doubts that that's where we're headed, and I think most people think that when it finally gets to the United States Supreme Court, we're going to have gay marriage all over the country.
If you look at what happened out in Virginia, you had the Supreme Court stay their Court of Appeals decision, striking down their anti-same-sex marriage. So it's already on the way. It's just a matter of this decision being decided once and for all. I think what surprised a lot of legal observers is how fast and how quick it managed to get there. You know, just a year after the decisions in DOMA and a couple other things, it's like, okay, this will take a while, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have a decision by next October.
What did you make of the federal judge here in Indiana who criticized the governor. He first said that same-sex marriages from other states were legal. He stated his ruling and then said, oh, by the way, Governor Pence, I'm dismayed with you. Did you make anything of that ruling?
Yeah, I do. I think that it was a strong reprimand of the sitting governor. It's the first time I've seen a federal district judge in the state of Indiana, anywhere federally in a long time, take such a strong stand against a sitting governor and say, you know, you misrepresented the facts to me.
Was it political, though? This judge was appointed by President Clinton.
I don't think it was political, but one thing I think we're forgetting here is actually in this entire matter, the governor did the same thing to a certain degree as your candidate for Secretary of State, Beth White. When the court came down and said, hey, same-sex marriage is not legal in Indiana, you may issue marriage licenses. So the governor issued a memo saying, all right, state, we will comply with the judge's order. When the judge stayed his order, guess what? He said, all right, state agencies, we're going to comply with the judge's order. All the two memos were, upon close inspection, of just the governor telling state agencies to comply with the federal ruling.
That's a nice spin.
It's not no spin.
It's total spin.
I saw your eyes
He
rolling.
misrepresented the facts to the U.S. District Court Judge Richard Young, and Judge Young reprimanded him for doing so. And I think you know, it's pretty unprecedented.
Back here at home, the City County Council committee overlooking the mayor's new crime plan initiative took a vote and said, you know what, we're not going to do the homestead credit for now. We will stick with the public safety tax. Is the mayor's new crime plan up in smoke, or will this thing survive?
I don't think it's up in smoke. I think that it's. I think Democrats are taking a longer look at it. I think there needs to be more discussion inside the city of Indianapolis about whether the homestead credit is the way to go for this type of thing. I know what he's about to say about it, but the fact of the matter is, the homestead credit does impact some folks, and it is taking away property tax money from schools. And so I think it's very important that we have a good discussion about this before we do it. I think Democrats and Republicans both agree we need more police on the street. We need more help for public safety. The question is how you pay for it, and we have to have a discussion about it.
I'm surprised that he knows what you're thinking, because we don't have a teleprompter on this program. So what are you thinking? There's no teleprompter.
Well, a couple of things. Yes, you know, this is part of the budgetary process. We have the discussions. I don't think it's the mayor's homestead exemption is dead by any stretch of the imagination. Democrats have always been going on talking about we need, you know, fund early child education as part of a comprehensive crime proposal to do that. I was frankly surprised that they included the public safety tax, seeing how a third of their caucus this week, you know, posted and what a lot of officers have considered anti-police signs, you know, with the hands up, don't shoot on the 10th anniversary of Officer Jacob.
Were you offended by that?
Yes. I was like, what are you guys doing? What are you thinking? I mean, if you want to make a statement, fine, make a statement, but this is not the place to do it, and particularly when we're honoring the 10th anniversary of a police officer who laid down his life protecting other citizens, that you put something up on the council chambers that a lot of police officers find offensive.
Well, you know, I'm not going to take issue with the police officers finding offensive, but I do think that they were trying to stand in with the folks of Ferguson and constituencies who believe that police officers, at least Ferguson, Missouri, have gone way overboard. And I don't think that it was a reflection on Officer Laird or the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department and what's happened in the last few months. They were trying to, I think, express their opinion about what was going on in Ferguson, Missouri.
So why don't they express their opinion about the dozens of young black men who've been killed so far in Indianapolis? You know, they don't post a sign. You know, they don't march or do anything, but something 250 miles away, apparently it's a big deal here.
It's a big deal all over the country. I don't know if you're not paying attention.
Will the mayor's plan survive? Will we see, will there be a plan?
I think there's going to be some give and take. I don't think it'll be exactly as he proposed, for sure.
I would not be surprised if the public safety tax goes through and there's a phase out of the homestead over time.
In a matter of weeks, another charter school, not another, but a charter school will have to close after it was discovered that there was cheating on the ISTEP test. Is this a clear sign that charter schools can respond quickly when there's a problem? They can shut down, as opposed to public schools?
Yes. I mean, that's the beauty of charter schools, that when things aren't working, we can stop the hemorrhaging, we can close the school down, get the kids into another facility. It would have been nice, however, had the Department of Education, when they were first notified of the odd test scores, had moved a little bit faster and moved a little bit quicker to get back to the city of Indianapolis, so that way these parents could have got their kids in the place in school a whole lot quicker and sooner.
Leave it to him. He's going to criticize the Department of Education every opportunity he can. Looks like it worked. The DOA did their job. They did a thorough investigation. They found out that there was cheating, and it's really too bad for the students of that charter school who are now being jerked out of school after the school has already started. I think the adults in this situation should be incredibly ashamed of themselves. But I also think we need to talk about so much pressure of teaching to the test and the pressure on ISTEP that causes people to behave this badly.
But no, I disagree with that. You know, to say that to say that, you know, the pressure on the test scores forces people to cheat. That's like saying, well,
No, I didn't say that.
It's okay. Well, it's okay to steal or commit any crime because people are under pressure. There is no excuse for cheating.
I agree. Completely agree with that point.
But there will be an argument that will say, look, this is what you're going to get if you have charter schools, right? On one side or the other side, those that stand for public schools will say, if this were a public school, this would not have happened this way. Was this just a case of just people doing the wrong thing, period?
Yes, it's definitely people doing the wrong thing. But the problem is that we've put incentives in place. We have designed a system that puts the incentives in place for people to behave badly in some instances. Now, you know, most people aren't cheating. Most public schools aren't cheating. Most charter schools aren't cheating. But I do like that the Department of Education found this, did it, and this has happened quickly. And
before we move, you get the last 20 seconds.
Actually, it was the mayor's office who found it. DOE took forever dragging their feet to get the results back, and had they moved faster and quicker, maybe these kids would have a school.
He's never going to stop attacking Glendaritz. It gets really old.
Come Labor Day, we're expecting for former Governor Evan Bayh to make a decision on whether or not he will run for governor in 2016. Is that going to be the case or not? Will he run or will he not run?
I think I saw something on the State House file that a group that follows it pretty closely said it was unlikely that he was going to run. So I don't expect that he will.
All my sources, everyone I've spoken to since his most recent announcement endorsing Joe Hogshead for mayor tells me that Evan is not going to run. Why take a step back? He's latching himself onto the Hillary train.
You know what? I think if you both take that nice ice challenge,
I already did.
That you guys will do much better.
I already did. You did it too.
I did it.
If I want somebody to throw a bucket of cold water on my stuff out, that's what my wife is for.
Wow, our conversation continues on Twitter. You can follow Abdul, Kip, Laura, and Jennifer throughout the week. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Next, a journey on Indiana Avenue, how music, arts, and entertainment could lead you to personal freedom. A new journey will begin this week with the Madam Walker Theater Center. The center will kick off a year-long commitment to empowering people through words, music, and art. Let's visit the historic place and chat with Kathleen Spears in our Sunday Spotlight.
It's no secret that the Madam Walker Theater Center has experienced some shackles, some things that have held them back from progressing. And so our board and our staff really worked hard over the last 12 months with some support from the community and donors and funders. And we found ourselves on our own journey to freedom. And so, you know, we helped raise funds. We had a really successful fundraiser not too long ago. We got a lot of grant funding, and that helped remove some of the shackles that was holding us back. And so we were like, we feel free. We feel like we're on our way now to really execute our mission on every piece, on every element, and really be a value add to the community. So we're a historical and cultural gym with a lot of significance in the African American community, but also in the community at large. And we have visitors from all over the globe. Quite frankly, we just had folks from Africa here to visit. And so because we've worked so hard and we've released some of those shackles that were holding us back, we feel like we are free. And so we're telling our journey to freedom through others' journey to freedom. And so we've got a spectacular lineup of performers and speakers, and it's just going to be fantastic. You're just going to have to come and check it out.
I am going to come. And so as people fill all those seats behind you, right?
Mm-hmm. 935.
What do you want them to, all 935 seats to be filled? Mm-hmm. What is the one thing you want people to walk away with this year as they go on this journey of freedom with you?
Mm-hmm. Empowered. I want them to leave with a sense of empowerment, that whatever it is that's holding them back from achieving their full potential, they could pick up something here from a word that was shared or a dance move or a song or anything that says, you know what, I can do this. Because if we can, then, and if Madam can, you know, then anyone can. And so that's really what we want, is we want people to leave empowered, we want people to leave educated, and we want them to leave having felt entertained.
Kathleen Spears, Dr. Kathleen Spears at the Madam Walker Theater. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All 935 people.
We want them filled.
Come on. She has seats. Have a seat.
Right.
Come on, right?
They're comfortable,
They're
too.
comfortable. Mm-hmm. Thank you. They are comfortable. For more information on the journey to freedom at the Madam Walker Theater Center, you can call the number there on your screen, 317-236-2099. The series kicks off this Thursday with the man who inspired the movie Hotel Rwanda. Coming up, breaking the ice and raising awareness when Indianapolis' week continues. The Ice Bucket Challenge was accepted and done in true Purdue style by University President and former Governor Mitch Daniels this week. Purdue's All-American Marching Band lined up to give a drum roll as Daniels took the challenge. Purdue Pete had the honor of dumping all of that cold water on the president. Daniels passed on the challenge in a message that our Kevin Gregory, a Purdue alum, will want to listen to very closely.
I've been thinking about this all day. My wife Sherry and I are going to make a donation, of course. We're going to also donate $100 for every weather person in Lafayette or Indianapolis who will go through this. I've been getting wet thanks to you for a long, long time. To get you wet thanks to us. So everybody out there on the weathercast, we want to see you all wet for a good cause real soon.
I bet Kevin will take that dare. So now it's up to Kevin. It's up to you to meet the governor's challenge. Another person who took the Ice Bucket Challenge this week, Colts owner Jim Irsay.
No, sorry, Mr. Irsay. The team would never stand for it.
Oh my God, Andrew! Thank you. It feels good, welcome. Brother. All right, I challenge John Mellencamp, Steven Stills, and Colts Nation. You have 24 hours for the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Let's get it done.
Even though he got wet, Irsay says he's giving $10,000 to ALS charities. And come on, Colts Nation, the challenge is on. That's it for this edition of Indianapolis This Week. I'm Rafael Sanchez. Thank you for joining us, and have a great Sunday. And remember that we are always on the IndyChannel.com and the RTV6 app.